A new device that is designed to prevent drivers, be they truck, taxi or bus drivers, from driving under the influence of alcohol is on the way. A Devon-based company, PFK Electronics, said that the device will prevent vehicles from operating if the breath sample is above the legal limit. Wow. Now, to tell us more about this is the Sales and Marketing Director at PFK Electronics, Colin Sneyman. Colin?
Yes, good morning.
Wow, this is something nouveau. Tell me about this device. How does it work?
Well, the product is a normal alkalock breathalyzer, the kind that the police use. Obviously, it's a bit more sophisticated because the application is now not just a roadblock. It's in your truck or in your taxi or in the bus, and the bus driver has to give a breath sample every time he wants to start the vehicle. And obviously, there's the immobilizer part. So if you're above the legal limit, the bus will not start.
The device, will it be a handheld device or it is going to be integrated into the vehicle?
Yeah, it's integrated into the vehicle. So immobilizer is in the vehicle integrated, and the actual unit is either a wireless unit or a tethered unit, depending on what they prefer. The taxi drivers we find in export markets prefer a handheld unit. They carry it in their pocket as their personal device. The buses and trucks tend to have the tethered unit. So it's on the dash, handheld unit. When you get into the truck, this thing activates and asks you to provide a breath sample, and you either pass or fail. And if you fail, you can't start the vehicle. You can obviously couple it to a GSM device, so the control room can be advised as well. And there's obviously an override as well.
Colin, you're too fast for me. Let's take this step by step.
Yes, sure.
Now, I am stepping into my car. There is a device there. If I do not touch it, will I be able to start the car? Let's suppose I'm a public utility transport driver. I'm driving Temba Dlamini taxi services.
No, if you get to your vehicle, you first have to provide a sample before the vehicle will start.
So this is interlinked with the car's engine, or
that's right.
Or
so it cuts out the end. It's like a standard vehicle security product where you have to press a button.
Press a button to immobilize.
That's right. So to de-immobilize your vehicle, it needs a breath sample from a human being. As I said earlier on, it's kind of like a difficult market because people try and circumvent it. They do fascinating things like storing a breath sample in a balloon and leaving it in the vehicle, and when they get back from the drinking session, just deflate the balloon into the device to try and simulate the breath sample, or use a compressed air hose at a petrol station. All of these are obviously features that we have anti-circumvention features, so you can't do that.
How do you circumvent the one, particularly the balloon? Very interesting. Because it is human breath and my personal breath that is in the balloon.
Well, the unit measures the actual breath temperature and humidity. So it has to be, warm human breath and the differential pressure as well. So you kind of can't get the lung pressure out. You need about 1.5 liters of human breath to activate it. It measures deep lung breath.
And those doing long haul trips, Colin, you test the breath at point A where the trip starts, and if Tebogo decides to drink somewhere along the way, that provides a loophole.
They start out nice and sober, and then halfway down at Bloemfontein or
I've got a little nip in my pocket.
That's right. Yeah. Now the unit is programmed to take random samples. So while he drives, after 10 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, whatever, the driver will be alerted. He has to provide a breath sample again. Failing to do that, they can advise the control room, or the next time he stops, the truck will just not start. So there's random sampling to prevent him from doing that.
With the breathalyzer tests taken by traffic officials, they always use one device per person or per breathalyzer test. Now, doesn't the result of my past test influence the second one that I'm going to take?
No, the unit resets itself, cleans out the chamber automatically, and you can provide a new sample immediately. Obviously, there's little separate mouthpieces for hygiene purposes, so you can replace the mouthpiece each time you give a breath sample. But the unit is capable of taking sequential samples, one after the other, and each time it will take a valid sample and do a valid analysis and give you the actual alcohol blood level.
Be warned, guys, if you think you're going to take a little nip in your back pocket and drive. There's a device that's going to make it impossible for you to do so. Give us a call, 0891 104 207, 0891 104 207. We're speaking to Colin Snyman, Sales and Marketing Director for the company that has developed this device, PFK Electronics. Nkosnati in KwaZulu-Natal. Hello.
I just want to ask a question from the gentleman, your guest. Now, what happens if, say, maybe I'm a taxi driver, right? And just before I jump on my vehicle and I have been drinking, maybe I ask a friend of mine just to blow in who has not been drinking, and how will that basically work then?
Now, the vehicle will obviously take his breath sample and he can start the vehicle, but as we just said earlier, you may have to take him along because you'll have to provide breath samples all the way. The system stores all the breath samples, so there's a lot of driver behavior as well where in fleets the supervisor can download the breath samples for the past month and see a driver that has a drinking problem. Because a lot of the drivers, in fact, might be sober during the day, then they stop at night at a truck stop and they drink heavily, and when they start the truck the next morning they either don't make it or they're just below the limit. They're still an impaired driver. So all of that is stored, and the supervisor at the depot will see that this is a driver with a drinking problem and they can attend to that. But yes, the truck will start, but the random sampling, he'll have to take that guy with him. And in fact, that guy might as well be driving the truck all the way, and he's then obviously not under the influence, and we've got a safe driver on the road.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Okay, Nkosnati.
Thank you, man.
Let's move on to East London. Christopher.
Hey, Boho.
Morning, Chris.
How are you, Dada?
We well. Your comment, your question?
I think it has been answered already, because really I was asking myself, what if I use somebody else to blow that thing for me if I'm drunk,
But you see, Chris, it's going to be very expensive to do that because you've got to carry this person along, most probably buy him or her food, and if you have to sleep over, have to take care of the accommodation costs.
The taxi drivers, everyone's got the actual friends to them, you know what I mean? So maybe they can use them,
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, it's been answered. I'm happy with it.
Thanks, Chris. Back to Johannesburg we come. Nkuli?
Yeah, hi, how are you?
We are well. Your question?
Thank you, man. Yeah, man, I just want to find out about this device. So now this device is just for like public operators, like taxis and buses and that kind of stuff.
Anybody can have it. I mean, you can have it in your son's vehicle if you think he's a danger to himself if he goes out on the weekend. So it can be stored in any vehicle. But obviously it's an expensive product, and it tends to be more for fleets where they have expensive freight on roads. Buses for public safety and taxis for public safety.
We'll talk about the costs of the device, but let's hear what Mike has got to say, calling us from Cape Town. Mike?
Yes, hello. The thing that concerns me is I'm a farmer and I have a breathalyzer for testing people that come to work drunk, which is required legally if I've got a punishment for it. And I'm concerned that if I take my breathalyzer and I blow into it with a mouthful of beer, blow into the breathalyzer, it shows I'm totally drunk. Now, what bothers me is that this gentleman said it also does a blood test as well.
Mike, there was a little interference with the line. You say if you go swivel a mouthful of beer and spit it out and then blow, it's going to register drunk.
That's right. On the one the machine that I've got, that's what happens, and it's a similar one to what the traffic cops use.
Colin?
Our device is such that it takes deep lung samples. Yes, if you take a swirl of alcohol in your mouth and you blow on any alcohol sampling device, it will immediately register that you're drunk. You'll find that the traffic police do that on the side of the road. If somebody blows into the one, even for the police, and it registers, they ask the person, can you park next to the side of the road? And they wait. They leave you for about 20 minutes there. And then you take the second sample, and then the alcohol in your mouth would have been evaporated, and then it really measures the deep lung alcohol. And that's referred to as blood alcohol level, although there's not blood sampling being taken.